Time once again for a Brennan Willard podcast. It's Willard's Wisdoms from the studios of LEB TV, brought to you by Schaefer's Oil and by Lakeside Auto Repair. Kevin Stubblefield with BW coming off the High Bank 50 at the Lebanon I-44 Speedway last Saturday night. So you were back on asphalt and running well.
It was all right. That we struggled really early, and then we just did not have the balance of the race car we needed. And really didn't make, I thought the balance of the car would come to us when the track got cooler, and it did, but not enough. Just really, we ran second, and that's good, but, you want to win. So we went there to win and run second. So we fell a little bit short of our goal, but, Dylan Bates did a really good job of, he's just doing a really good job all around right now and really running well. So, happy for him. Pretty proud of him, really. They've got a really good group of guys from Fairgrove that work on that car every night or week, and he's got a good group together and doing it the way that it really should be done. And I'm calling it like an old school way. You've just got a bunch of friends that go help you at the racetrack. You're not paying a bunch of people, and it's just they're doing it because they want to be there. And the cool part for Dylan is, not only has he got a bunch of people that are just going, but he's got a lot of good people. And so I'm happy for him. And hopefully they can, I hope he gets the funding to try to run a national tour on the pavement side someday. That's what he wants to do. And it takes a lot, but I think, maybe he can find the funds and find a way to make it happen. So we'll see if it does. But, he did a good job Saturday night and really just kicked our butt, and we weren't far off. I felt like whichever one of us got the lead was going to win, and he led early. We had a restart there with not very many laps to go that we were able to take the lead, and then it got called back, and I rewatched the video, and the second row couldn't figure out their lineup, and they didn't get the lineup right, so they called it back. So when I did that, Dylan knew what I was going to do in the next one. I kind of played my cards there, and we were playing games with each other in the restart, and I played my hand, and, I'm like, here it is. And I went into one, and I beat him, and I'm like, we're good. And then you'll like, come on, I'm like, dang it, like there it went, and I'm like, well, we can do it again. And, got close the second restart, but he did a good job and hit his marks and got out front, and there just wasn't much we could do. So, it was fun, though, being back, and a lot of people there. It was hot, miserable hot, but it was a lot of people there that, we'd seen through the years and really enjoyed our time back. And so we went back and ran another pavement race, and now we're back back on the dirt this weekend. So back to black dirt in Illinois. But it was cool. We were looking at this Phillips store earlier and just talking about things, and you just see that, I think of those times, and, Dylan is so young. He wasn't really even alive when Larry was racing, but, you think of the battles that they had years ago, and you hope that, I think that Aaron is doing a really good job of building I-44 back, and pavement racing is trying to come back. They've got a lot of midweek races going on in the month of July and August that are nationally televised. They need to get more of it on Flow, in my opinion, and the track TV. Maybe that app's good. I just too stupid to use it, but they got to build the brand back up on the asphalt side of things. I still want to see it succeed, and I love pavement racing too, and just different, and that's okay. But just a lot of fun going back.
That's kind of the byword anymore. Racing is different, isn't it? Now compared to even just a short time earlier, mainly due to the media emphasis. You don't see as many people in the stands for cup races, but they're getting their revenue through TV and streaming now. So yeah. It's a different world. Things have changed. It's
amazing, though. ESPN was built off of auto racing. That's no secret. That's been well publicized. In the last 2 months, you've seen the streaming deals come through ESPN, especially buying streaming rights, doing streaming rights. Racing was first sport to be streaming. Short track racing, honestly, was it. Like that was really where streaming has come from. And it's like one step ahead. And it's like, so I don't know how you measure, because nobody's ever figured out how to measure the numbers that you're streaming. Nobody will give you those numbers. I don't know if the word measuring is the right term. How many people stay home and watch the races on TV? How many people don't go to the Topless 100 in person? They watch it at home. That was the one thing, my daughter is a dirt fan. She just isn't, she grew up at the dirt track, which is, I guess, kind of my fault, but in a laughing matter. But she's used, it was 100 degrees out. Well, like Ashley was like, we could be swimming. We could order pizza, swim in the pool, and watch the Topless 100 on TV while we were sitting in the pool. That really sounded pretty good when it was 105 out in the car. But you know what I mean? Like it's different. People have different avenues of watching. Nothing beats, I tell everybody this, dirt racing especially, you cannot get the full experience on TV. It's kind of like hockey. It's probably the two sports. Pavement racing's a little bit more you can get on television, I think. But even then, it's just, it's different. And like you said, different things. Like now, for an asphalt race to be good, it needs to be 200 laps, like a big asphalt race. And it needs strategy, and you have to save tires and save your car and save fuel, just all those things. That's the one thing that I even heard Dale Jr. talking about his race last weekend was the tires are different. Now, we all bitch and complain about the tires. And honestly, in some ways, you can almost say they're too good because we've developed our race cars, whether it's dirt or asphalt, to last on the tire, for the tires to last. So tire savings, tire conservation is gone. The NASCAR race at Richmond was awesome. Why? Because the tire fell off. Because they said it was 4 seconds of fall off per run. The tire that they're on at I-44 in the late models, I bitch and complain about. I don't like it, but I do think it, in some ways, it helps the racing a little bit because everybody's tire, you're one tire away from having a bad night. If you get one tire that does, we lost stagger, and which is, for people who don't know, staggers, basically you want your right side tire 3 inches bigger than your left side tire on your rear, and that makes the car turn. Well, if it gets with a spool rear end that you have to run on pavement, which the dirt cars are the same type of rear end, it's actually the same stagger. If you go below 3 inches, then the car is going to get tight, which is the nose is pushing and the car will not turn. You go above 3 inches, you're loose. And why 3 inches is the magic number, don't know, but it's crazy that it's a magic number whether you're on dirt or you're on pavement. And, we were shooting for a number on our stagger and got out of the race car and it's 1.5 I'm like, well, now you know why you were tight. Week before we were 1.5 inches, same thing. And it's like, why? That is, now I feel like it's something we did wrong as a team, but you live and you learn. And it's not what cost us the race. What cost us the race is Dylan beat our ass and he did a good job.
Need to get Dylan in here as a guest.
We will. We'll get him in here and have some fun with him. I'm just proud of him because Dylan was, took care of my dirt program, was my crew chief there. First year we went racing dirt. We kind of done it together. And, he's really trying to get to the national level on pavement. And, he went to the Redbud 400. He will be at the All-American 400. I'm pushing him to go to the Snowball Derby. He needs a tire sponsor. He understands the undertaking of that. And it's a $20,000 deal to go down there. It's a lot of money. So, that's something we want to do in 2026 that I want to do myself. But it's a big thing, a big undertaking. But we'll see if he can make that happen for sure. But great night at I-44. It was a lot of fun. The Baby Grand race was maybe the best race I've seen in a long time on any surface between Dylan and Danny Trent. And they put on a great race, side by side, just clean, though. Like, racing hard, but clean. And that's when you talked about racing's changed. We saw a thing over the weekend at Batesville with a couple guys getting into it, and one felt he got wronged and then 2 wrongs make a right, maybe. And, the problem with racing is you have to draw a line in the sand. I had to draw a line in the sand a couple weeks ago that I didn't like doing either, but I had to draw that line. I was tired of getting run over, and I drew the line. And the respect in the deals are just a little bit changed, and it needs to, seeing that baby grand race with 2 guys racing that hard and not touching was refreshing to see. The races we've had at I-44 the last couple of weeks, we all raced pretty hard, very hard, and everybody's raced very clean, and us happy to see that. Everybody's being respectful, and that's good. On dirt, you can really hit each other and lean on each other, and, you make each other mad, but usually you don't tear up race cars too bad. On pavement, you're one bump away from a front clip and ending your season. So different, but just interesting to see how much racing's changed and how much the world's changed. But, man, it was a good time on Saturday night.
One thing will never change. You can be running at I-44. You can run at Daytona. You can run at Eldora. Doesn't matter. You're running for the checkered flag.
Right.
No matter where you're at.
Yep.
That's the competitive nature of racing, and that's brought out in everybody.
I wish I could go. Kenny Wallace always says competition will kill you. It's what his priest told him before he got married. I wish I could be like, he can't do it either. I wish I could be that person that just isn't competitive and doesn't want to win and, just there to have fun, because there is times that you have to take a step back and say, hey, I'm doing what I wanted to do as a little kid. This is all I ever wanted to do was drive a race car. That's it. So enjoy the moment while you're there, and you can't because I don't know what happens to us, but we're so focused and we want to win. But times you got to enjoy the moment and step back and realize what you're doing and be appreciative of getting the opportunities that you've got. I know I'm very appreciative of the opportunities I get to drive race cars and fulfill what I want to do and fulfill my dreams. And it's awesome. But the times, you're like miserable about it and you're like, wait a second, this is what I want to do. This is fun. So you got to put everything into perspective sometimes.
Car count was 55 at I-44 Speedway on Saturday night. So the number is getting pushed.
It's getting better.
Kind of to that magic threshold. You can get between 60 and 70 cars on a regular basis. That's when things really start to flow, I think.
I agree. And, it's no secret that we're liable to race against 40 cars. There's liable to be 40 late models in the pits Friday night at Kankakee that I'm racing against, and 40 at Red Hill, and, between 30 and 40 everywhere we go. Dirt is getting a huge car count. Other racetracks on pavement are getting less cars than I-44. So pavement car counts are down. But what's cool is to see I-44 coming back. Your Crown Vics, there was 15 of those. There was 15 baby grands, and there was 10 or 11 late models.
A little short on the Chargers.
A little short on the Chargers. Street stocks are down a little bit. But that class is really, you had a couple guys with hurt motors. And you also got to remember that your dog days of the summer, people going back to school, your car counts are always down in August anyways. But it's really, I think the Crown Vics are going to be a solid 20 next year. I think that's very doable goal. And if Aaron can get 20 of those every week, if you can get back to the 16 late model, 15 to 16 late models, then you've got a good solid field of those. Baby Grands was good at 15. They get more of them. I think that will grow. It's just, your straight stocks is a great class. The Rolling Thunder class, and I hope this clip goes viral because those guys all need called out. The amount of people that have a pavement car in their shop that have had their cars in their shop since I-70 closed in 2007, so 18 years ago, that called me when I was there, and now they're calling Aaron, and they're going to bring their car out. You keep doing better, I'm going to bring my car out. Well, I had a car at I-44 Speedway 20 years ago, and you just keep doing better, I'm going to bring my car out. I'm going to bring my car out. Get your damn car out of your shop. If you don't, then don't call. Because what Aaron did was he created that Rolling Thunder class for these guys to pull the car out of their shop to save money. The cheapest class in our area that is premier class is the late models at I-44 Speedway. There is no cheaper class. It's cheaper than a damn Midwest mod. So for these guys to say, oh, I'm going to pull my car out, you better have it out. Because Aaron's went out on a limb and, awesome that Trenton Masters won. I don't want to leave that out of the show because I'm so happy for Trenton. Lost his father. Trenton Masters is in college. He has a borrowed Dodge Dakota. Maybe it's his truck now. He comes every week on an open trailer with 2 sets of tires and a buddy from college to help him. He shows up at that racetrack every Saturday night with no money, no nothing. He doesn't have a water temperature gauge in the car. I found that out, and he's going to have one next race. I spotted for him, and I was glad to spot for him. And Trenton's helped me randomly. If we race around the lake, Columbia, he comes and helps. This kid's a racer. He goes and helps ARCA teams when he can. Like he's scratching and calling, and he is what I call a racer living a cliche, the American dream, but that's what you want. Those guys built cars to race against Larry out of their shop in their backyard. And Jimmy Phone has done a great job of helping Trent out. And however he was able to get the cars, payments, borrowed money, like did what he needed to do that any financial advisor tell you you're an idiot, right? He did it. And he's out there sacrificed. And you go out and want him a race. Yeah. Good for him. He's won his second race of the season in the Rolling Thunder class. And like I said, these guys have these cars and they're going to pull them out. Well, a 2005 left-hander is now 20 years old. So if you have your 2000 left-hander, get it out because they've got the rules based on 2000 late model rules at I-44. Get them out. There's no excuse. If you have a modified, put it in that class. Don't call Aaron Douglas in November and tell him you're going to be there in 2026 because you're not. If you're not going to be there now, you're not going to be there in 2026. Like, get them out there, make it happen, or get you a late model or street stock. You have those options because the one thing you can't do as a promoter, and I ain't running the racetrack, not my deal. Nobody wants to see a class with 4 cars, just like the Chargers. Like you just said, the Chargers had 4 cars. Like that. It's not. They need to be on the little track. Because if you have 4 cars on the little track, it's entertaining. The Bandoleros are growing. It's doing good. It's kids' cars. Baby Grands are growing. Late models are growing. These other classes, you have to decide, A, don't pick up the phone and call the promoter and be like, hey, I'm going to be there. You can't do that because that promoter is going to tell 10 of his fans that Joe Blow is going to be there. Well, then Joe Blow doesn't come. They're not mad at Joe Blow. They're mad at the promoter. Mm-hmm. So just... way it is, but it was awesome to see Trenton get a win. Yvette Ackerman got a win in the Crown Vic, which was a great race. And that class is so much fun to watch. And Mike Sloan's racing in that class in a late model, and Mike's been helping Jimmy Phone, and Jimmy Phone's late model has gotten a lot faster. Mike's a very good. Mike was a good race car driver, and didn't. I don't know if people forget. He probably hadn't raced in 8 or 9 years, but good race car driver, but really knew a lot about his race car and able to really help Jimmy out. So it's good to see that.
It's a dude there that spent a lot of time in Winter's Circle at I-44 Speedway. North Wilkesboro coming back to NASCAR as a points race next year. That's kind of the big news.
Hallelujah. Amen, right? That's a good thing.
A phoenix rising from the ashes, really.
Really is. And, I remember when they left it, I was young, but I remember that. I remember watching the last race on TV and not thinking much of it. But what they were able to do there, what Dale Jr. was able to do, honestly, like he has no financial gain by doing this, but got it back. And the cool part is once they brought it back, the racing has been outstanding, even with as bad as this new Cup car is. So it's awesome to see Dover now, the All-Star race. What's your thoughts on that?
Going to be unusual, isn't it, to go out of Charlotte to somewhere else? Yeah,
I don't really have a problem with it. Everything is changing. I saw today Major League Baseball is wanting to do a realignment. Like everything, a lot of the world's changing. They've got Richmond was we talked about on this show how bad the short track racing has been for the Cup cars and the road courses. Richmond was outstanding. Why? They had a soft tire It gave up 4 seconds to fall off in a run. North Wilkesboro is going to be, like Dale Jr. said, they're going to be up on the wall. They'll be on the fence because your tires will wear out and you'll just spread out, and it's just going to be an outstanding event. You know, what do race fans want to see? I don't know, because Bristol was sold out for how many years? They changed the racetrack and make the racing, it was a conveyor belt. Everybody was on a conveyor belt and you had to knock the guy out in front of you to pass him, right? Then they make the racing 3 and 4 wide. Nobody goes. Like, what the hell happened? You know, like the guy made the racing, Bruton Smith makes the racing outstanding. Then everybody's mad at him and killed his legacy because he ruined Bristol. So I don't know. It's like, you don't know what the fans want, and people want different day and age, like we talked about. So, but I'm so excited to see North Wilkesboro back. I think it's going to be an awesome points race. It's a longer race, and you can really see, you know, give and take going. Kansas Speedway is the best racetrack on the circuit to watch these new cars. 100% the best race. I'm going to say on here, and it can go viral too, 2026 will be the last time you see Kansas Speedway have 2 cup dates if they don't sell one of those 2 dates out. They have to sell it out. The crowd is not, I'm as guilty as everybody else. We are as guilty. St. Louis got mothballed in 2010 and it was gone. Like, it was gone. They're selling out their cup races. Chris Blair's done a hell of a job of making an event. It's a huge event. Pat Warren does a great job at Kansas Speedway. It's nothing Pat Warren's doing. It's nothing the staff's doing. People aren't showing up. Maybe the 1 date is what it needs. I don't know. But to race fans, same thing as we talked about, is I'm going to bring my car. The best race in the NASCAR circuit is Kansas. Like, it honestly would be a great all-star race because that would be great, but ISC owns it, and that's a whole different deal. But if Kansas doesn't pick up their attendance, if we as race fans don't go, then it's going to probably lose a date, and that may not be a popular opinion, but it's pretty black and white to see. Sprint was, you know, their headquarters is Kansas City, so when that was a Sprint Cup Series, that's how they got the second date. If they go to 1 date, it will sell out, but, you know, it'd be nice to have 2 sellouts there.
Schedule will look different, don't you think? I don't think they're going back to Mexico City. Doesn't sound like. No. They're going to San Diego.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Street courses.
No, Chicago.
Road courses.
They are going to Chicago land.
Yeah.
So good. I don't like street courses, but I understand. I think it's stupid. I don't. But when you have a race in Chicago and 1 million people can walk out their door and see what they're going to call a NASCAR, they see a race car going 180 mile an hour on the street that they're going 25 mile an hour on, it's a spectacle and it's something to see, and it probably creates race fans. That is your goal. I wouldn't have chose Chicago, but that's neither here nor there. But San Diego, I think being on a military base is going to be really cool.
That'll be quite a background to see a race.
It's going to be, like really cool venue. I think it's going to be a really cool event. So maybe that'll be a better street course. I think of, what if you had a race at Fort Leonard Wood on the streets of Fort Wood, how badass would that be? But it really will be interesting to see how this goes. I'm excited to see the changes there. I don't have any huge complaints. Like Dover's an all-star race scares me because it's going to take a while to rubber in, but maybe it'll be okay.
All right, back on the road, dirt-wise this weekend to Illinois. What do you hope to accomplish?
We, like to get out of there 2 top 10s. We've really been working hard on a dirt program. We tested last week at Wheatland and had a great test. And I think about where my guys out. We tested 2 days last week, once on dirt, once on asphalt, and raced asphalt. It was a long week. But, we had some motor, just freak things happen on our motor stuff. We got our motor situation back. We found some issues with the brakes and stuff on our cars. So I feel like we got a really good piece underneath us to go and results. Well, hopefully we have the results back it up. It'd be nice to have 2 solid top 10s this weekend and 2 good runs and see what happens and give us momentum going. We race 7 of the next 8 weeks, so we need some momentum on our side for sure.
Very good. B, good luck this weekend.
We will need it. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and appreciate Schaefer's Oil really stepping up for us and Empire Energy, all those guys, and Thank you for everybody that helps makes this show possible. We appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again soon from the studios of LEB TV.